Used to be at the forefront of change, which is why we've launched the all-new X-Chair with Elemax. Elemax combines gentle body temperature regulation with stress melting massage to increase your comfort working from home or at the office. Feel more refreshed in seconds with dual fans that actively deliver a cooling airflow. Or you can wrap your back in the soothing warmth of heat therapy and access 4 combinations of massage for deep relief from tension. Topped with dynamic variable lumbar support and Cyclo Infinite Recline technology remain unchanged. Order an X-Chair with Elemax today. Use code TV and get $50 off plus a free footrest. Hey, change happened, and we've made it a good thing. All new Elemax from X-Chair. Now the future feels better than ever before. Order X-Chair with Elemax today. Use code TV and get $50 off plus a free footrest.
Introducing the all-new Nutrisystem. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months, guaranteed. You'll see results in your first week.
Order your Nutrisystem plan right now. You'll get a month of breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks delivered to your door. Act now and we'll include shipping absolutely free.
Your first 18 pounds? Gone.
Call or go online right now and start losing weight today. Plus, get shipping free.
Do we have any more paper towels?
Yep. Check the pantry. I just ordered from Boxed.
What's Boxed?
Boxed is the only wholesale club that lets you tap into the value of buying in bulk online.
Is that right?
But unlike other wholesale clubs and online stores, Boxed has no membership fees. Delivery is super fast. And look, free samples. Now we don't have to worry about running out.
Sure, cookies next time.
Save 10% and get free shipping on your first order at Box.com. The better way to shop bulk.
Our southern border remains wide open tonight. I want to tell you about a disturbing discovery that was just made there. Our Bill Malugin is at the border with that story. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Tucker, good to see you. So look, throughout this border crisis, cartel members and human smugglers have gotten increasingly bold and increasingly creative, if you will, with their efforts to avoid law enforcement. We got something pretty bizarre we want to show you. Take a look at this photo right here. It looks like a legitimate, average Border Patrol SUV, right? Well, it's not. It's a total fake. Border Patrol in Tucson, Arizona came across this vehicle being driven by a human smuggler. He had literally cloned one of their Border Patrol SUVs, got all the markings on it to make it look legit. He was also wearing a fake Border Patrol uniform and had 10 illegal immigrants inside that vehicle with him who he was smuggling. Thankfully, agents sniffed it out. They arrested him, took all of the migrants into custody. But that's the sort of thing happening down here at the border more and more often. You take a live look at our Fox drone overhead right now. Typical night down here in southern Texas. We got a group of migrants who just shown up after crossing illegally into the United States. This happens every single night out here. The question is, who are all of the people coming over? Border Patrol here in the Rio Grande Valley reporting in the last fiscal year, they've already arrested 145 confirmed gang members, including 4 MS-13 members just in recent days. This crisis not going away anytime soon, as the Biden administration has 2 crises they're dealing with, one in the Middle East, the other right here at the southern border, which isn't slowing down anytime soon. We'll send it back to you.
Well, that's obvious. Bill Malugin, thanks so much for that. So this is just a cable news show. We never pretend that we're an international feminist organization. We're not an NGO. But that doesn't mean we don't care about the fate of women and girls. We do care. And that's why for months now we've been monitoring the situation in Congressman Eric Swalwell's office. Swalwell, you remember, had a long-time sexual affair with a Chinese spy that included personal behavior we will euphemistically describe as stomach-turning and unnatural. We'll leave it at that. Swalwell's spy girlfriend has since fled back to China ahead of the DOJ, but Eric Swalwell himself remains at large tonight in both Washington and California. We've been keeping tabs on him because we think it's our duty. A few months ago, we told you about Swalwell's efforts to find young women who might be willing to, quote, expand his brand, whatever that might mean. Just saying the words makes the hair on our arms stand up. Now tonight there is this development. Swalwell has been caught advertising for still more women. His office has posted a, quote, job listing, possibly on Craigslist, we can't be sure, noting that young women are, quote, strongly encouraged to join him, and we're quoting here, to manage his agenda. Verbatim quote. How'd you like your daughter managing Eric Swalwell's agenda? How is behavior like this allowed in 2021 in the United States Congress? Where's Nancy Pelosi? If this was Afghanistan, if it was happening in Kandahar, CNN would be demanding that these women, these agenda managers receive immediate asylum for their own safety. UN agencies would get involved. We would all understand this as a pressing human rights crisis. But because Eric Swalwell is doing it, manage my agenda, it's okay? No, it's not okay. It's wrong. We hope it stops immediately. Without any support at all from Republicans, the Democratic Party has just pushed a $3.5 trillion budget through the House of Representatives. The question is, what's in it? We'll tell you that.
You know things are looking up in America when Ron Jeremy's been prosecuted.
From Washington. I said, no. I got it. I'm going to walk from the Pentagon to Shanksville to Ground Zero.
See, look at that.
Places that were such loss of life.
It's crazy.
September 11, 2001.
I cut my hair. I made myself bald.
It's about 525
Now look.
miles. I plan on doing about 50
Ridiculous.
miles a day, so it should take me about 36 walking days. I'm leaving early August from the Pentagon. Then I'm headed up through Cumberland, Maryland, up through the mountains, and over to Shanksville, and then heading east to Ground Zero to New York. I've been preparing for over a year, and I think between my brother Russ and my brother Steven's spirit, they will make sure that they carry me through that day. When you do these walks, you do something like this, you have to have meaning in everything you do. I'm going to be walking by here. This last moments were before he ran through that tunnel. He had the whole route already done. I've been up in the hills, in the mountains. I've been training for over a year. It's going to take, I'm doing 15 miles a day for 36 days. My hope is to bring $1 million.
Look at these things.
$11 a month.
I look like a douche. There's another one. I broke these. I have none. Ugh.
To mark 20 years, Tunnel to Towers is giving 200 mortgage-free homes to the families of fallen heroes with young children and catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. Honor our vow to never forget.
I love these Tunnel to Towers people.
By donating $11 a month at tunneltotowers.org now.
Hello, friends. Michael Youssef here. You know, the right says that Christ was conservative.
Who the hell's Michael Youssef?
Christ was radical. But Christ
Who's Michael Youssef?
God in human flesh. And he's the only one who can give you peace.
Who is Michael Youssef?
Eternal peace.
According to Wikipedia, Michael Youssef is an Egyptian-American pastor and televangelist.
Visit findingtruepeace.com.
He sells God.
That's findingtruepeace.com.
He makes money selling God. I think those people are questionable. You think Jesus had a hat when he was teaching the Beatitudes? And I don't know. Anything in the hat, you know.
Every morning I check, make sure I'm in good shape. It makes me feel.
I'll make money off anything.
I mean, you might as well be in a doctor's office.
There's a way that I can communicate with patients now that I never could before. They have their own EKG in their pocket. With CardioMobile, the FDA-cleared personal EKG device, you can take a medical-grade EKG and just
Get a haircut soon.
CardioMobile is proven
My hair's the worst.
atrial fibrillation, one of the leading causes of stroke, and it can also detect normal heart rhythm, bradycardia, and tachycardia.
Having cardiomobile is a peace of mind for me.
Because you can't see your cardiologist every day, but you can see your CardioMobile every day.
It's never been more important to check your heart at home. CardioMobile is available for just $89. Order at cardiomobile.com or Amazon.
Why should you switch to Pure Talk? Because they use the same network as the larger providers for much less. With plans at $30 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. And remember, you'll get the same number of bars because it's on the same network as the larger providers. Dial pound 250 and say Pure TV to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk. Simply smarter wireless.
For every ransomware infection, there's a failed blacklist antivirus. PCMatic's whitelist security turbocharges any antivirus and stops ransomware before it starts. PCMatic starts at $50 for 5 devices for 1 year with a full 30-day money-back guarantee.
Need the headphones.
Any antivirus in homes, businesses, and governments.
These headphones are the worst.
Cyber threats.
It's all right, though.
Prevent them. We still have time. Go to PCMatic.com.
Tucker Carlson Originals, exclusively on Fox Nation. Now, Tucker uncovers the mystery of UFOs.
They've been well documented by our government for many years.
This is now real science. The evidence 100% contradicts what the U.S. government and the military wants us to believe.
Will government officials finally tell us what they know?
It's enough if we make your jaw hit the floor. New episode of Tucker Carlson Originals, streaming now. Part of Fox Files, all this month on Fox Nation.
Well, Democrats in Congress, while the rest of us were completely absorbed in what's happening in Afghanistan, just passed today one of the most expensive and maybe the single most radical budget in the history of this country. The total is $3.5 trillion. Now, by using a legislative tool called reconciliation, Democrats are able to include amnesty for millions of foreign nationals in this bill, people here illegally. The budget also allocates billions of dollars for, quote, green public projects. In other words, companies owned by their donors. It passed with no Republican support. What else is in this bill? $3.5 billion is a big number. Brian Brandenburg is going through it. He's an associate.
Trav.
We're happy to have him on again. Brian, thanks for joining us. So what is in this legislation that the rest of us have ignored effectively?
It's typical cradle-to-grave legislation, Tucker. You know, it starts with child care. It goes to
Thank you, man.
It goes to college education. It goes to Medicare.
Fun, huh? The thing's good, man. The whole thing.
Plan that tries to get you hooked from the minute you start walking to the minute you can't walk anymore. I mean, this is really totally radical.
And you know what's cool about it? It's completely different than what we're doing here. But you know what I'm going to start doing? Trev, I'll tell you what. I think talking more about and engaging the YouTube guys like you while we're doing the show nationally, I think that's about, isn't that an algorithm too? You know? So I may do that here too, start doing that. Because what I'm understanding is the algorithm, that's how YouTube sees which shows are making it.
Yeah, the people who got us out of Afghanistan by humiliating the country are now spending $3.5 trillion. What are the chances?
You know, talking about some of this other stuff, I don't know, you know? I think, you know what? Because to me, the YouTube and the streaming, it's just blowing up, man. Radio's going to be there. I think people, hey, would you agree? People have to consider doing radio differently because it's the platform is too old thinking. Do a show, throw topics out, take calls, and then go home. I don't think that works any longer. I think we have to start implementing a little bit more of some of the things that, you know, the people that go to the social media pages say. I'm not saying have your callers lead your show. I'm totally not. But it's different today. Agreed. I completely agree with that.
And it's creating a civilian climate core. It's trying to change culture in this country away from individual responsibility, away from capitalism, and toward government dependency.
Yeah, once you change the electorate, then there's no going back.
That's right.
Your vote isn't worth anything.
That's right. Dilute the vote.
Yeah. Brian Beverly, I appreciate you coming on today. Thanks so much.
You know why? I don't know why. I think they're trying to grow that Radio One. That's their website. I think that's what they're trying to grow. and they don't have it on YouTube. But their websites are so hard to find some of their content sometimes. I told them that. I can't tell you how many times I told them that their stuff was hard to find. The Fanatic, really? Interesting. Huh. See. Great. Great. I'm doing, dude. How are you doing, brother? You be the man. Okay. Got it. Wow. Yeah, we had a disturbance today. We had to put it down with hoses, and it was, we had to use electric shock too, and then, we took a page right out of the Chinese. Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to use electric shock. See, this is what, my wife had a beautiful idea on the Taliban. Are you ready? My wife just said that they should do this. Hey, listen, man, you guys want anything? And just put a pile of munitions and everything in the middle of the capital of that fucked up country. Just put everybody. And then get this, move the women and children out. All the Taliban are in the middle, and just drop a nuke on them. And to me, in my opinion, if you did that to those folks, do you know the behavior issues, how that would affect and the ripple effect that would have in that region if you decided to be them just for one night? That's what Maputo did. When Ali and Foreman were going to fight, he rounded up 1,000 of the most horrible criminals there was, and he executed them publicly. And there was no crime for 2 weeks while that fight was going on. You want to set a tone? Here's another one. Let's do public hangings. And by the way, I want to charge pay-per-view for it. No, you just put it on paper. What you're telling me people wouldn't buy pay-per-view to watch a guy who was a terrorist who killed children? Pay-per-view, okay? Oh, yeah, no, the higher up, if he's Salome, you're going to have to pay $105.95 for that one. Yeah, Trevor says he'll buy. Yeah, William Wallace. Oh, my God, totally, man. Put his head on a spit. Yeah. I'd be all in favor of that. Oh, my God, yes. I'm in favor of public hangings. I'm all over that, man. I mean, you pay pay-per-view for that? You're telling me people wouldn't buy that. I would. If I saw a guy like Osama bin Laden who was involved with all that, are you kidding me? I'd pay gigantic money to watch that guy being hung. I heard that. Yeah, they shot him through a door. Trevor says, can we do live impeachments too? Dude, did you not watch it? Last year, they were on live every day. Yeah, we had 2 of them, man. I mean, we watch that bullshit every day. Good evening, America. Dan Sileo, USA Radio. Welcome aboard. The show that America needs. It's going to be my new billboard. It really is. The show America needs. We need... You know, it's funny, last night we were having fun just doing some baseball trivia, just talking. Everybody was having fun. I got a guy over here on my YouTube channel. By the way, if you're listening to us in one of our fine cities that picks up the Dan Sileo show, we thank you. If you are following along on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show, then you go to the website, dansileoshow.com, streaming it with our great partners at USA Radio. Thank you. Twitch, like Trevor. We appreciate that as well. Multi-platforms. That's what we have to be nowadays. By the way, I was just at our pregame show. We do a little pregame show, or I do a little pregame show with the people that come aboard my social media. You know, I'm learning one thing about all these great platforms. People go to these platforms for one reason and one reason alone. Whatever that particular show is about, don't deviate from it. Don't deviate from it. If you know anything about me, I'm a guy's show. Sports, politics, entertainment. I really don't care about anything else. Animals, I'm a big animal guy. We're rescue people. I don't. Right? Steven started out my show tonight. By the way, he goes, you're not going to talk any baseball tonight, are you? I'm like, of course I'm going to talk baseball. It's actually getting interesting. It's actually becoming fun. I so look forward to talking to all of you. By the way, this is how you become part of the show. The only way, because if you notice, I don't throw the number out. I refuse to. I'm not having that any longer. So if you want to be part of the show, I'll make you part of the show when you come aboard our social media platforms. Anything to say? We'll echo it back and forth. How's that? I'm starting to do that with my stream show. It's going very well. I think we had something like 85 people drop comments today. And so we'll start doing the same thing here. Radio's got to be presented differently, in my opinion, today. It's not just having the crank callers or your guys that you have on every freaking night. And those chronic callers, God, do I hate them. Man, do I hate them. I used to start, you know, I had a rule a couple of years back that you could only call the show once a week. Then I made it so you could call twice, beginning of the week, end of the week. Can't have it every day. Just not happening. I can't have it. Then you're like a co-host with me. I don't want to do that. So regulars, okay. Yeah, and Steven's like, any baseball tonight, Dan? Of course there's baseball tonight, Steven. Trevor's talking football with me. Anything you want to bring up here? I do want to start it out. And again, as you know, I put a little politics and a little, you know, I sprinkled that in the show a little bit here. May I ask one question about social media? So the Taliban spokesperson is on Twitter. He's on Twitter. This man represents people who cut the heads off of people who are anti-Taliban. These people torture people, make children and women slaves, and Trump's banned. Oh, and do you know why? Because Trump doesn't follow Twitter rules, but the Taliban does. Do you know what this spokesperson said today? He said that bin Laden had nothing to do and there's no evidence that bin Laden was involved with 9/11 at all. This is the dude that the White House is dealing with. He is the dude. I posted that on my Twitter. He is the official spokesperson that Washington is dealing with and the Taliban. And that guy said today that bin Laden had nothing to do with 9/11. Well, I would say this to you. Anybody who has that frame of mind and anybody who has that notion in their mind, you can't reason or have conversations with, because whatever you say to that person just will not buy what you're selling them. You just will not, and you can't reason with people like that. So Osama bin Laden, the official spokesperson, had nothing to do. How do you believe anything that's on Twitter then? I don't know how. Get this. So they get their panties in a bind on Twitter or Facebook or these social media platforms when you talk about the election being rigged. They'll ban you for that. They'll take your content down. Google does it all the time. You mention anything about election irregularities, you're banned. If you're anti-vaccination or saying things that could be misconstrued as anti, you could be banned. But a guy who represents people who cut heads off and make women and children slaves, as long as you follow the Twitter protocols, you're cool. Okay. We live in a really strange time. I'm sitting there in front of my computer, watching Twitter, and I'm thinking, this guy's just posting things about the Taliban, and you don't believe anything they're saying, do you? My God almighty. Don't believe anything like, okay, we're giving fair passage to Americans. State Department late tonight came out and said, don't go to the airport anymore. Gee, I wonder why. You don't really believe those people. Those people are terrorists. You think terrorists tell the truth? These people are murderers. And by the way, may I ask one more thing about this? And again, it's just social media. How do I believe anything? Didn't there used to be a line that our politicians have that the United States of America doesn't deal with terrorism? What happened to that line? We don't deal with terrorists. America hasn't officially acknowledged the Taliban as the leaders of Afghanistan. I mean, when did we lose that? America now deals with terrorism and terrorists? We are in a different time in our lives right now, and I get it. It's different. Harry Truman just dropped a bomb on these dudes. But now we're kind of like this now. We're talking about giving the Boston Marathon bomber voting rights. Okay? We actually, and Bernie Sanders has actually had a debate on that, whether or not that guy should have voting rights. What? You're kidding me. That guy's a murderer. You don't give murderers who murder Americans voting rights. Bombing the Boston Marathon? That guy gets rights? Come on, man. Come on, dog. Hey, I'm all for treating people and people who are incarcerated with respect, but not that much respect. No way. I saw that. Somebody said, Sills, you got to take a look at this. The Taliban's like official representative, has a Twitter account. It's got 352,000 followers, too. 352,000 followers. And Trump's banned. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I guess. Wow. Okay, let's slide into this one here. And I have to agree with Bruce Arians. This goes with, by the way, this craziness about vaccinations in the sports world is really wild to watch. Okay? I saw people saying this today again on the Colin Cowherd show. People were saying, just get vaccinated. And I'm like, that's not your place to say that. And it's not your place to ask me about my medical history. You have no right to know about my medical history. None. Absolutely not. I'm not even sure your employer has a right to know about your medical history and ask you questions about your medical history. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to play one on the radio, but boy, I'll tell you, if your boss came to you and asked you to take an AIDS test, Jesus, right? What's the difference between a vaccination test and having somebody question and talk about your medical history and then making you and mandating you to do something else? I don't know, man. Where did that crossing of the line go to? You don't have any right to ask me that question, a media person. Nobody in the public has a right to ask me that as well. Bruce Arians, though, has come up with something, and I like it, and I'll tell you why. Listen, what I'm saying to you is, I'm not suggesting to you that you don't get a vaccination. What I'm suggesting to you is, it's none of your business. It's none of your business what your next door neighbor does. Since when do you have a right to know what your next door neighbor does? That's why we have law enforcement people and people supposedly that represent us. My next door neighbor, I don't give a crap about him. I could care less how he lives his life, honestly. But Bruce Arians has a good way. He goes, look, you don't want to be vaccinated? Fine, this is what we're going to do. So I guess they got a road trip coming up this week. So you know what Arians said? Hey, family members can't come to the hotel, and you can't leave the hotel once we're in town. Nobody can come in, and nobody can go out. I'm good with that. He's protecting everybody. Perfect. I don't have a problem with that. Not at all. Hey, you don't want to get vaccinated? I'm totally cool with that. Well, guess what then? Nobody leaves. Nobody leaves, and your family and your friends can't come to the hotel to see you. Okay? None of those people can do that. That's going to be Bruce Arians' new rule. You all right with that? I'm totally all right with that. I got no problem at all. Hey, what's good for one, it's good for all. Let's make sure that everybody's healthy this year and everybody follows the protocol. He's basically telling you, fine, here's what we're going to do. I can't be sure who's all. I think the NFL right now is at 95% vaccination. Okay? I think it is. I think they're at 95%. So that's a good thing. It's not going to really, but it's funny is a lot of the quarterbacks aren't. Okay? This is Bruce. Stephen just said this. All of the COVID-19 policies are mostly politically and political. He's right. Absolutely right. Absolutely. Yo, Trevor too, man. Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Carson Wentz. All these quarterbacks are not vaccinated. They've been asked the question. Dak Prescott, too, for the record, Dallas Cowboys. He's the one that quoted the HIPAA law. In honor of my friend Steven, let's do a little Major League Baseball talk. Let's take a look at some of these races that are going on around the game. We'll do it next. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. I made it seem like he was. See, you know what though, man? It's called radio. You know, selling things, Chris. Just in case you're keeping score there, you know. But who am I? Your problem is already asking that question. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Wow, I don't know, man. I feel like betrayed there a little bit on you. Hey, folks, you know what Chris just did to me? He goes, "Shut the fuck up. I'm your boss." No, don't do it, please, please. No, don't. I'm going to take my headphones off. There, it's off. Hey, what do you make of Tom Cotton as a senator? You think he's a hard stumper? Could have a wraparound series. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. In case you don't know what that is out there, a wraparound series is one that extends into Monday. It could be. Oh, it's nice. What's that? Oh, the Yankees. Homeboy, let me just tell you, being a Yankee fan growing up, we were not very good either. When I started watching Yankee baseball, I would say this. I'm going to get to it, Steven. I would say this from 1973-ish. The Mets were the team in New York. And my first time that I thought of baseball, the Mets were champions in like 69. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding, Trevor. From like 69 to 74, the Mets were better than the Yankees. They went to 2 World Series. They went to the 73 series and they went to the 69 series. Oh, God, man. After Mantle retired, like it was almost like immediately, 264 all the way through 76. The Yankees didn't make the playoffs. I know, from CBS. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. My God almighty, I'm going to do something here that takes me back to when I was a kid. I'm looking up standings in baseball right now. It's cool. And you look at the teams that, really you thought would be in the hunt, and then teams that may not be in the hunt. Let's take a look at that right now, okay? I mean, the Rays, there they are sitting in the American League East, 4 games up on the Yankees. Wow. Can you name me a couple guys on that Rays team? I mean, if you're just a regular dude, that baseball team is so good. 78-48. They're playing 620 baseball. 7-3 over the last 10. The Yankees are 10-0 over the last 10. And typical Yankee fashion. Always get late in the year, a late year run. How many times have we seen that in their history? You know, you start going like this and you start hearing people say this about the Yankees, right? You're like this. Come on, dog. You guys make all that money. Where are we going? Steven just said this to me. Yeah, Nolan Ryan was on that Mets team in 69. He was a closer, actually, too, on that team. He wasn't a starter. Actually, I think he's got a save in that 69 series. If I look at that statistics, I think Nolan Ryan may have actually had a save in the closeout game in 69. Maybe. Okay? Maybe. You know who he was traded for? He was traded for Jim Fregosi to the Angels. Jim Fregosi was a good baseball player, but no one realized that Nolan Ryan would turn out to be Nolan Ryan. And the only guy who knew that was Tom Seaver. Seaver said, this guy's great. And if you really end up getting rid of him, Jerry Koosman was on that team. They had a damn good pitching staff. That pitching staff on that Mets 69 team was sensational. McGraw wasn't on that team. He wasn't on the 69 team, but McGraw was on the 73 team. I think he was. What'd you say there, Chris? He saved game 3. Okay, Ryan's got a World Series save and not a win. Who would have thought that, right? He's got a save. That's a heck of a baseball team, that 69 team. Ed Charles played third base. Crane Poole was on first. Grody was behind the plate. Seaver was the ace. I think the 69 team, I think he won 25 games that year. He was insane great that year. Won the Cy. Pitched at USC, I believe, the college that he was from. You want to hear something even crazier? It was going to be between the Padres and the Mets. They had like a lottery, and the Padres lost out on on Tom Seaver. And he ended up going to the New York Mets, who was the worst team. Casey Stengel was the coach of that team and the manager of the Mets when Seaver first initially went to the Mets organization. It was a heck of a – the one thing that the Mets have always been able to do, not to give the Mets too much love here and too much run here, I would say this to you. The Mets have always produced pitchers. I mean, from whenever you go down Port St. Lucie, that minor league system has always produced. Willie Mays played for the Mets around that time, 73. They wanted to bring him home. And you want to hear something crazy? Willie Mays' first game back in New York. His first game back, he had played with the Giants forever. Obviously, they were the New York Giants back in the day. He played at the Polo Grounds. Get this. His first game as a Met, he hit a home run. And after that, I don't think he hit his body weight. Okay? I don't think he hit his body weight. Holy cow, I'm talking baseball like this, and I even got through the standings yet. Holy cow. Hey, do me a favor, folks. Go over to podcasterwarehouse.com. We'll pick this conversation up. Use the promo code Sileo, S as in Sam, ILEO. Shipping is free, 25% off everything, podcasterwarehouse.com. We'll continue our baseball talk. Way to go, Steven. We'll do it next. You keep it here on the Sileo Show. So they booted Rachel. They booted Rachel Nichols off ESPN. I don't know. I think she got more in trouble because she had an extramarital affair with Jimmy Butler. I think ESPN probably had a problem with that. I mean, they were all in the bubble. And supposedly she may have had a relationship with 2 players in the bubble. She's married. And I mean, yeah, but it's not a good look when it goes public. Hey, Chris just said something really cool. ESPN's not actually full of Saints. That's correct. How Mike Tirico works at NBC is beyond me. Steven, the Reds playing a shitty division. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. What'd you say? Yeah, Steven just said that the Reds are not better than the Padres. The schedule's weak. They play in a weaker division. It is, right? I mean, right, Chris? Who are they really battling in that division? The Brewers? That Brewers team does. Yeah, the Astros in the American League. That's still I still have trouble with that. But no. I still have trouble remembering that because they've been a National League team my whole life. Boy, the Brewers do scare me though, dude. They're pretty talented. It is. Yeah. And remember, they have to play the Giants and the Dodgers 17 times. I mean, you're playing the two best teams in baseball potentially. As many games as you are. You're right. You stick the Padres in that Central Division, they win it. Yeah, but dude, the Giants have sucked the last 5 years. They've sucked. Oh, no doubt. 3. Okay, Boch gave him 3. Absolutely. Yeah. What's your fixation on them? Not me. I don't give a shit about them. However, when I was a kid, I don't ever remember Baltimore being bad. But I remember as a kid, they won a couple World Series. And you talk about a pitching staff. They had 4 guys on the staff at one time that won 20. Cuellar, Palmer, Lundborg. I forget the other guy. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Brian Baldinger is going to join us in hour number 2 from the NFL Network. We will talk with our friend. We'll go around the league, get his thoughts on numerous topics out there, and we'll talk a little Eagles football with him. He's a former Philadelphia Eagle, and he was at Jets camp. So we'll talk to him about Zach Wilson too. But we were talking a little baseball here, and Steven asked me the question about the Padres. If they are a playoff team, let's go down to the National League here. I just was talking about the Rays here in the American League East, but why not? Let's start it over here in the National League. We never started in the National League. I'm an American League guy, as you can tell. Grew up an American League guy. I'll always be an American League guy. I love the AL. Okay, I grew up a Yankee fan. So, let's start it out west. I'm out here. And I do watch the Padres, by the way. That's a damn good baseball team. It really is. From where they were 3 years ago when A.J. Preller had to start putting some pieces together for that baseball team, they ended up going out. Snell really hasn't lived up to the expectations. Isn't that so Rays-like, though? They send David Price away. They send Blake Snell away. Does it matter? Nope. Rays are in first place. They dump a Cy Young Award winner, and they're still in first. How many times do you see that with that team? They get rid of Evan Longoria, still in first place. They get rid of Joe Madden, still in first place. That is such a well-run thing. I've been hitting on that. Low payroll, massive results. Padres went out and spent a boatload of money, up over $150 million with their payroll. Never in a million years, in the time that I've been covering the Padres, have I ever seen them spend that kind of money. But guess what? They're still 14 back. And you want to hear something frightening about this Dodgers team? This Dodgers team has been pretty banged up all year. They've had quite a few guys out all year long. Kershaw, too. And they have still done it. Bauer now, too, with that whole thing with that case in the commissioner. I mean, they have done a great – does it show you, though, once you have great leaders in the building? Andrew Friedman, where the hell do you think he came from? He was the general manager of the Rays for all them years. Right? He was the GM that put all those things together in Tampa. The story of the Giants, though, they have sucked. They have sucked the last 3-4 years. They had to dump Madison Bumgarner. Posey, I didn't think had any juice left. He's having a great year this year. You know, I mean, but there's another organization that really knows how to – look, Larry Baird, the president of the team, has put a fundamental in that place, and there is no question when you look at all the things that they have done when it comes to their minor league system, the Giants are now back to being where they were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where they were consistently contending and Boch was the manager. It's the best division in baseball. I mean, even the Rockies are pretty decent. That's a good division. The Central Division and by the way, I'll answer your question, Steven. Do I think that the Padres are a playoff team? I don't. They're just not getting the results they need with their starters. It's a hell of a lineup. Machado's having a real good year. And here's something else, too, about Fernando Tatis Jr. Guy's in and out of the lineup. You know, he doesn't really stay healthy a lot. They just fired Larry Rothschild, their pitching coach. Larry Rothschild was in New York for a while. Brewers are a damn good organization and a damn good baseball team. They're sitting atop the Central Division now. And when you look at how they're winning ball games, I mean, you're talking about another baseball team with great starting pitching. Okay, how about Urias in the year that he's having? Okay? You know, you would look down at that and go, well, this guy needs to play a little better. How about Garcia, 24 bombs? And what he's doing, 70-something RBIs? Christian Yelich has been up to get at least up to 63 games. That guy was a great ball player. But if you looked at their lineup, there's a couple dudes hitting around 290. It's all starting pitching. Their breakdowns come down to their starting pitching and their bullpen. I mean, they have really become a great defensive baseball team. And they have been a pitching staff that has put up really good numbers. How about Woodruff? That's a good team, man. That's a good baseball team. And there they are sitting there. The Reds, you know, I think the Reds are okay. The Reds, here's another baseball team that was really sorry the last couple of years. Like I'm talking the last 5 years. And what have they been able to do? They've been able to take all them high draft choices and they've been able to build their farm system up. And the Reds, of all the great fan bases in all of baseball, Cincinnati's one of the best fan bases. How about the fact that the Cardinals are only 3 games over 500? They made the move for Nolan Arenado. And you're like, the Cardinals are behind the Reds and the Brewers in the Central Division. Wow. The Cardinals have gone south in the last 7 years. It's not the same organization. You know what? I'll tell you this. There's another one of these organizations. I was just telling Chris. In my lifetime, I don't ever remember the Cardinals sucking. They have no pitching. Zero pitching. And that's another baseball team that was a staple on putting pitchers in their organization. Just not drafting well. The Cardinals are only 3 games over 500. Here, let me show you something here about this Brave organization. And, Steven, this will go to you and everyone else out there that's listening here. Let me give you something here on the Braves. You know who John Shearholtz is? John Shearholtz used to be the president of the Atlanta Braves. And him and Bobby Cox put a system in where every single player that was a position player were to become interchangeable because of the constant contracts that were going up. But you know the one thing that they made sure of? They made sure that they went after starting pitching, and they made sure that they went after bullpens. And the Rays and the Padres, the same time about 6 years ago, were the worst teams in baseball. They were picking at the top of the draft. Here is the Atlanta Braves with 68 victories. Hey, by the way, not to tell you that I think the National League East is better than the National League West, because quite frankly, they both have 68 wins. Okay? And I do think the East is a little bit lesser than the West. But the Atlanta Braves, they don't believe in going after position players unless he's some exceptional dude. They're more of a position team. And, I mean, they're more of a pitching team, excuse me. They believe in starting pitching. They have always, since this Cox era. And John Shearholtz, he's not the president of the team. He's a consultant now to the team. And then there's the sorry-ass Mets sitting in third. How about Philadelphia, too? Philadelphia's 1 game over 500, and you have Bryce Harper. You have Bryce Harper, and you're 1 game over 500. Here, I'll say it to you. Bryce Harper's not worth the money that it's printed on. Okay? He's not. Not worth the money it's printed on. He's brought you nothing in Philadelphia. Brought you nothing. Okay? I mean, what has he done? Actually, if you want to even take it further this way, the Nationals won a World Series without the guy. I mean, come on, man. What? He hasn't brought you anything. I like the Braves. I like the Brave organization itself. How about the Astros? The Astros have rebounded nicely, haven't they? I'll tell you something about the Astros organization. Big believer that, it's a good baseball team. And you know who they remind me of? The Raiders. They remind me of the Patriots. Doing things across the gray bar. Making you think. Okay? Trash cans. Stealing signs. That's all. The Patriots do that, don't they? Okay, right? The Raiders did that forever. And baseball is better when there's a villain. It's okay. I actually like they got 75 wins. That's pretty good, man. And you know what? There's the A's. This always good. Always good. Now explain this one to me here. So the Angels are 63 and 64, and you got Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on the team. How's that possible? I mean, really, how is that possible? Okay, how is that possible? How can you have those two guys on your ball team and you suck so bad? Standards, pitching. That's the problem with that team. It's the pitching. Seattle hanging in there. Chris O said this to me a couple minutes ago, and I happen to agree wholeheartedly. The story of the year has been Tony La Russa's White Sox. Indians hanging tight through 10 back, but they're not doing nothing. That division, they own it. White Sox are just too far ahead right now. By the way, I do want to throw this out. I thought it was really cool seeing Miguel Cabrera hit his 500th home run. Do you know that he's something like 40 hits away now? I think he's 40 hits maybe away from 3,000. Can you name me the guys in baseball history, without looking it up, that have 500 plus home runs and 3,000 hits? Let's do it. Let's do it right here. Okay? Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Pujols, A-Rod. Let's see. Who was the first baseman? Bonds? Nope. Trevor Bonds does not have 3,000 hits. He's 36 hits shy of 3,000. Eddie Murray is a 3,000 hit, 500 home run guy. 3,000 hits and 500 homers. I don't believe Frank did it. I think he's a couple hits shy. I think he's got like 28-78 in hits. The point is that I don't think Jim Tomey's on that list. 3,000 hits? I don't think he's got. No, Mike Schmidt doesn't have 3,000 hits. No, I'm just showing you the list. I'm going to write the names down here to show you how hard this is. Okay, because I want to keep it. And Chris, don't tell me. Okay, I'm going to say Aaron, Mays, Pujols, A-Rod, Aaron Mays, Pujols, A-Rod. Ripken does not have 500 home runs. Eddie Murray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 guys. I don't know if there's any more because Sosa doesn't have it. I know Ted Williams doesn't have it. Ralphie Palmeiro, you're right. Ralphie Palmeiro is a 500, 3,000 hit guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's only 6 players. Okay, soon to be, right? 7 with Cabrera. That's the point I was making, is that what he's going to do, he's going to join an elite club. Aaron Mays, Pujols, A-Rod, Eddie Murray, and Rafi Palmeiro are your only guys in baseball history with 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. Just to show you how incredible that is. Not even Ted Williams did not, obviously. Williams may have had 4,000 hits if he didn't go to the World War II and the Korean War. He may have had 600-700 home runs as well. Okay, I mean, the guy, arguably the best left-hand hitter. Ruth doesn't even have it. Ruth has got 700 home runs, and I think he's like 2,700 hits, somewhere in there. So, yeah, I mean, this is an elite group that we're talking about here with Miguel Cabrera. And you know the fun, Ripken, Stephen, I think he's right around 430 homers, somewhere in there, 440 maybe, in there somewhere. Think of that, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, soon to be 7 people in baseball history are in that elite club. You know the only guy to have 500 home runs north of it and 500 stolen bases? It's Bonds. There's no other player in baseball history that has done that. Hey, don't forget, podcasterwarehouse.com. Please do me a favor. Go over to the website. Earbuds, microphones, desk, anything you need to build your home studio, this is your one shop. For you to be able to shop for everything you need, 25% off everything. Shipping is free. You can spend as much as $5 and $5,000. Okay? Anything. Podcasterwarehouse.com. Cabrera. You know why they got rid of him in Miami? They said he was a fat drunk. That fat drunk's going to be the 7th player in history to go 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. We'll do it next. Steven just said, Dan, you kick ass on baseball. Absolutely. I used to have the baseball reference guide, Steven, in my hand, and I could quote, watch this, all-time batting average, 367, Ty Cobb. I believe second, I think Shoeless Joe is 354, and I think Roger Hornsby is second. Speaker's in there too. Oh, me too. I used to take pictures out of books of Mickey Mantle and like Reggie and like those guys. And I loved Reggie as a kid. I used to love Dick Allen. I got a signed baseball back there by Dick Allen, his rookie year when he won the Rookie of the Year award. Dick Allen's one of my favorite ball players. Yeah, nobody. The only other guy that I think that was in Willie Mays, I think, had 300 stolen bases. I think. But I know this. I believe that Andre Dawson. No, there's no one. 293. It's either 293 or 297 in homers for Ricky. But Ricky's got over 1,400 stolen bases. You know, Henderson is the all-time stolen base king for like 7 teams. Who is the all-time strikeout leader? Now, strikeout pitcher, that's Nolan. Nolan's over 5,000 strikeouts. No, and he's got 7 no-hitters. Pitched, actually, you want to hear something crazy? Nolan pitched 2 no-hitters in 1 year. I think that was 73. 1 year, get this, he was 8-14. You want to know what his ERA was? 158. Yeah, huh? I had to have a shitty record like that. I could sit around and talk baseball. I think people have the notion because I was an NFL player that baseball is not something near and dear to my heart. When I was a kid, do you want to know how stupid I was? I used to have a book where I used to keep score of Mets and Yankee games off the TV set. I used to keep score, and I would score the game. E5, putouts. Crazy. I had stacks of books like that. Here's funny. My aunt used to say this when I was a little kid before I even got into sports. You should be a broadcaster. Would have thunk it. No, man, I used to watch baseball. And see, when you're in the New York area, WOR, Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, you watch Mets baseball. Rizzuto, White, Mel Allen, all those guys, Yankee baseball. Rizzuto was awesome. Him and Bill White, man, those guys were just great. And they used to have you want to hear something crazy? They used to have a rule back in the day that if the Yankees were home, they wouldn't air the games. They'd air Met games because they were away. There was a rule. The TV rules have changed so much. They made you go to games. They wanted you at the ballpark. Now they don't care because most of their TV comes also like the NFL. Goes through television. It's about branding now. By the way, who could afford those seats behind home plate at Yankee Stadium? Those things are like what? I mean, they're like $2,000 to sit behind home plate. Stephen Clark just asked me, batter who struck out the most in his career, but he hit a lot of home runs. It's Reggie Jackson. I think Reggie has the most strikeouts in the history of Major League Baseball. And I think Reggie's home runs, I think he hit 580. No, I don't think he hit that many 580. I think he's more like around 562, somewhere in there. 580 was more Frank Robinson. When Robinson retired, I believe he was third or fourth on the list. Crazy how that is. Because he was at like 580 something, and you had Mays at 660. Then you had Ruth at 714, and then you had Henry Aaron at 755. See, yeah, when Frank left the game, I think he left as a Cleveland Indian, if I'm not mistaken, too, because he was a player manager. I think it went, when Aaron, Ruth, Mays, Robinson. So Robinson was fourth, Frank. And Frank had the distinction of being the only MVP in the National League and the American League. He won it with the Reds early in his career, and then he won it in 67 with the Orioles. And believe it or not, Frank Robinson won the Triple Crown in 67, hitting 316. Yeah, he did hit 49 homers, though. I believe he had 49 homers that year. And, 67, he came over from Cincinnati. The Reds had thought he was done. I can't believe I'm even doing this. I'm just going down like we were talking about standings. And here I am talking about Frank Robinson. I will say this, one last thing on Frank. Frank Robinson can easily be the most underrated player in baseball history. Two-time MVP, first black manager in the history of the game, 580 some odd home runs. I mean, I don't know. And when you talk about the greatest home run hitters of all time, does Frank Robinson jump up into your mind and go, yeah, no, that guy there? No, I guarantee you, if you ask half the baseball players today who Frank Robinson was, they probably couldn't tell you who he was. He was some ball player. I believe he was on the same team with Rose, too. Can you imagine if they would have kept him? You had him, Rose, and imagine if he was part of that big red machine. They got rid of Frank Robinson, and you had Johnny Bench in the system. You had Tony Perez in the system. They traded for George Foster. Foster was a giant. They traded for him. Morgan, they traded for Morgan, though. He wasn't in the system. Morgan was an Astro. There was a couple moves that they made that were great. They got Foster from the Giants, and they got Joe Morgan was a Houston Astro before he was a Cincinnati Red. People don't remember that. He was a Colt 45, actually, with Jimmy Wynn. How's that for you? How you doing? Big Seals is dropping some love right now, ain't he? Hey, man, listen, we're going to pick it back up, I promise. We'll take a look at the rest of the standings here. We'll get into some NFL news, too. By the way, my friend Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network will join us in hour number 2. We'll reset everything and keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. I know, man. That was really fast. I will. All right, I'll be right back. What's up? How crazy is that I know all that useless shit? The Colt 45s, right? People forget the Astros were called that. I didn't know that. I heard they're going to make it into an amusement park. They should do that stuff with these old stadiums. They should have did that Turn that thing up in Detroit into a mall. Yeah, they say Fulton County down in Atlanta too. They turned it into a little park for people. Good evening, America. Dan Sileo, USA Radio. Welcome aboard with us here. By the way, bottom of the hour, our friend Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network will join us. We'll talk some NFL football. We had a lot of fun in the last segment talking some Major League Baseball. Baseball is so good with that. You know, I mean, I just wish baseball knew how to weave the past into the present better. Of all the American sports, baseball is the greatest when it comes to the history of their sport. Could you tell me who the all-time leading rusher was prior to Walter Payton and Jim Brown in NFL history? Do you know who it was? I don't. But I know Ruth. It's funny, get this. I've never seen Babe Ruth play live, but I know who he is. I've never seen people like Walter Johnson pitch, but I know who he is. Ty Cobb. I never saw Ty Cobb play. Hell, I don't even think I was alive when he died. But I know who he is. But I know who all these men are. Why? Because it's a revered history, that sport. It's a sport that America grew up on. We grew up on that sport. You got to remember what the golden age of sports was back in the 20s. It was boxing, it was horse racing, and it was baseball. It wasn't football. College football, for sure. You were a bigger star if you were a college player. You think Red Grange was known as a Chicago Bear or a Illinois Fighting Illini? He was known for what he did at Illinois, the Wheaton Iceman. He didn't get that reputation because he went to the Bears. When you went to the NFL back in the 20s, you went and it was almost like a carnival if you played professional football. It was like wrestling. That's why a lot of wrestlers got into it. It was because it wasn't really revered like it was in college football. That's what I'm saying about our history when we're talking about, we were just going through, and again, I caught myself doing something so geeky, going over the history of the game a little bit. And then I think of the present day guys. I don't know. The people that I look at today that I've seen, and I've covered baseball now. Gee, let me think. I've covered baseball. I did the pre and post game show for the San Francisco Giants for 6 years. And I did the post game show for I did the pre and post game show for the Padres for 2 years. And I did the post game show for the Rays for 6 years. I covered baseball. Okay? I used to get Barry Bonds on my show. I used to get Dusty Baker when he was the manager of the Giants on my show. I used to get Tony La Russa all the time. And McGuire and Canseco when they were with the A's. Got to remember, when I was covering baseball and I was in the Bay Area, I could go on one weekend and watch McGuire and Canseco hit and Ricky Henderson, and then go across and watch Barry Bonds play at Candlestick. And Will Clark, too. It's a great baseball time. Just a great baseball time. I mean, the A's were winning, but the Giants weren't really winning yet. The Giants didn't win until Boat showed up. I just wish baseball, this Shohei Ohtani kid, as I've been saying, it's one of the greatest years I've ever seen in baseball history. And I know the greatest years. You know, you traditionally have to go Triple Crown, or if you want, you can go DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. Do you know the year that DiMaggio won the MVP that year? That's the same year that Ted Williams hit 400. Williams hit 400 that year. And DiMaggio was your MVP because of the 56-game hitting streak. You know how many times DiMaggio struck out in 625 at-bats? 13 times. Nowadays, you have to walk of shame. So, love baseball. As you could tell, grew up with it. It's a massive passion of mine. By the way, we appreciate everybody coming aboard here tonight. If you're listening to us in one of our fabulous cities, thank you so much. Or on our social media pages, our Twitch channel or our YouTube channel. Paul just came aboard with us. Thank you so much, everybody. Anything you want to add to the show, we appreciate it. We're going to start doing that. You bring something to the show, we're gonna add along you and your comments to the program. So we appreciate everybody doing that. You know, we were talking about standings in baseball and going through, you know, baseball just needs a facelift. Or wait a minute. I think baseball maybe we should say it this way. Baseball is going through an identity crisis. Football can't lose in the news, right? I got some new news tonight too, by the way, on Deshaun Watson. And people are tweeting at me right now because I said that this was potentially going to happen. And I'll talk about Deshaun Watson here in a second. But baseball's got like an identity crisis going on. I mean, there's so many great young baseball players in the game right now. I mean, that Mookie Betts kid for the Dodgers can play. He is good. Is there any coincidence, too, since Betts left, that team has sucked. That guy's with the Dodgers now. The Dodgers, I mean, the Dodgers have been banged up all year. Jock Peterson, all these guys, right? Been banged up all year. But that organization is so deep with talent. Their pitching, too, man, is best. We'll see if they have enough in the bullpen to get it done this year again like they did a year ago. But the Dodgers are loaded. I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series again. You know, you're looking for other teams, but why would you go against the Dodgers? There's no team in baseball as talented as the Dodgers. When healthy and all their bullets are in the barrel, you're not going to find a team in baseball that's got more talent and more depth of talent than the Dodgers. Not happening. And by the way, Max Scherzer, since he's been a Dodger, has he lost? I don't know. I don't think he's lost since he's been a Dodger. Guy's been like throwing BBs with them. Just an identity crisis, though. You know, this is the most I've talked baseball in a while. It's because of Steven. He said, hey, we got to talk some baseball. I'm like, you're right. It's a great American pastime. I just wish they would do a better job at promoting it. I really do. All right. We just got some news here tonight. It looks like the Miami Dolphins are making a lot of noise for Deshaun Watson. And it looks like there is some noise going on that there could be a potential trade. And what would that mean? Okay, you got a guy with all these sexual assault cases against him. Are you going to be able to withstand all of that in a PR nightmare that is waiting you if you sign this guy? What's the first question? If you're anybody that has any kind of backbone and you're in the media, is it the first question if you're part of the Miami Herald or the Athletic? Is it your first question? How did you get around the Miami Dolphins taking in a guy who's got all these sexual assault cases? How do you feel about that? I mean, let's think about it. You're bringing a predator like that into our community. If it so turns out to be he is, I'm not saying he is, because personally, I think the whole story's fishy. I really do. I think the entire story's fishy. You're telling me he's not on the NFL's commissioner's exempt list yet? Why? He hasn't been suspended? Why? He's at training camp, but he's not playing? Why? You're paying him $38 million a year, and you're not going to start him in week one? Why? You got a brand new head coach, David Culley. Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't these questions being asked or answered? Pretty weird, isn't it? You got a guy making $38 million on your roster, and you're not going to play him, and he's considered one of the top 5 guys in the NFL, I don't know. Sounds like you're making a trade to me. You know, you don't go out and drive your car you're trying to sell because you might get it banged up or something might happen to the car. You're looking to get as much value as you possibly can. Putting Deshaun Watson out there in week 1 versus the Jaguars, that's not going to cut it. So there's some noise now. Tua's played pretty well. Tua Tagovailoa has played pretty well in the exhibition season. He has. But, man, what a PR nightmare and a PR campaign on fixing up a guy's reputation. Can it be fixed? They fixed Michael Vick's reputation in Philadelphia. This was a guy that murdered dogs. America was outraged. This guy spent time at Leavenworth. Hard prison time. Michael Vick did hard prison time for that. And Philadelphia accepted him. Did they not? They embraced him, actually. Don't tell me you couldn't embrace Deshaun Watson again. If these cases turn out to be some type of misunderstanding, I'm not giving him a pass because there's a lot of these cases. So I can't give all of them a pass. If there's 3, I may. But 23, I don't know. Right? When I say I don't know, you know I do know. Come on. They all can't be BS artists. There's got to be something to this here. I'm not going to suspend a guy on innuendo, though. And I'm surely not going to tarnish his name on innuendo. And especially when an attorney is doing everything civilly and not criminally. I know this. If somebody raped my daughter, I'd want this guy's ass in jail and off the street. I wouldn't be trying to get $1 off the guy. That's down the line. I'd want this guy's ass in jail. I mean, isn't there anybody at the district attorney's office in Houston, Texas, going like, okay, well, if there's 23 cases of sexually assaulting women, is that not a predator? I don't know what your definition would be then. Or what a definition of a predator would be. This is why I'm starting to see that there's some noise now going on Deshaun Watson here. And if that is the case, then we're going to see potentially a move. I think Tua's played well. I do. I think he's played well enough to see if this guy is the guy. I really do. But there's a lot of scuttlebutt out there now that potentially the Dolphins are in conversation with trying to get this guy to maybe make a deal to bring him into Miami. I just think that Tua is playing too well. And I wouldn't be doing anything like that right now. I'd wait to see how this thing gets resolved. I'm okay with Tua going into the 2021 season. I wouldn't do it. Okay? I'd wait for it once again to be resolved. So that's the new news coming out of Houston. Now, could that be generated by the agent or Rusty Hardin, his attorney? Maybe. Maybe. Because you're trying to get a market for him. A lot of news, man. A lot of news. I want to talk about the Cowboys. And I'm going to tell you something that I saw in Hard Knocks last night. We'll do that. Don't forget, Brian Baldinger, bottom of the hour. We'll talk to our friend. We'll reset and keep it here on the Sileo Show. Yeah. Only 2 teams. Was it one of the Tory Yankee teams? Was it the 77 Yankees? No, 77 Yankees? 63 Yankees? 56 Yankees? 51 Yankees? 27 Yankees? Okay, 27 Yankees and was it the 67 Tigers? 84 Tigers. That's right. They got up to that 33-4 start. Okay. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? 27 Yankees would wipe the shit out of them, dude. Come on. Come on, Mac. Come on. Of course you're going to say yes. There's a Hall of Famer at almost every position in New York. '17, dude. I'll tell you what, though, man. You know what? Murderers Row. The only reason I give the Yankees the nod over the 75 Reds and 76 Reds. But I'll tell you what, you had an all-star at every position in Cincinnati. From one, the bottom, again, Chris, the bottom guy, the ninth hitter in that lineup, Geronimo hit 300. Just to show you how good that baseball team was. I mean, you had Concepcion was a 300 hitter in that year. Yeah. Perfect. Wonderful. All right. Good. Got it. No shit. They're good, man. Yeah. Yep. That 98. That 63 Yankee team was great. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Brian Baldinger will join us in a couple of minutes from the NFL Network. I watched Hard Knocks last night. Holy cow, man. The Cowboy facilities. You see that drone? The whole thing's dope. It's incredible. What Jerry Jones has created when it comes to the practice facilities, it's unbelievable. The Cowboys have the best of the best of the best. And you know what it made me feel last night? I was like this, man, you think they're coddled a little too much? Everything is top of the line. Everything. I can guarantee you this. They're staying at Ritz-Carlton's. I know. I played for them. Let me tell you a little story here about Jimmy Johnson. When Jimmy got to his first camp, Thousand Oaks. It was Jerry's first year. We get out to Thousand Oaks. Jimmy looked over at me. He goes, "What the hell is this?" I was like, I knew immediately. I started laughing. And everyone around me goes, "What are you laughing at? What's wrong? Why is he upset?" I go, "It's too cool out here. This guy will never have camp here ever again. No way. No way. There's no way." Within 3 years, they were gone. When their contract ran out, they left. Jimmy never went back to Thousand Oaks ever again. He was like, no way are we going back here. No way. They were in like San Marcos. Hey, you want to know heat? How about San Marcos in the summer? I don't. Hey, you ever been to San Marcos in the summer? I don't. You're going to sweat your baguettes off. That's what he likes. You are going to, let me tell you this. Man, boob sweat, San Marcos. Thank you. Okay. How you doing? San Antonio. Okay. Baguette sweating. How you doing? This guy did not go for that. So I was thinking, this is the same guy that when you played bad in a preseason game, he would not feed you your dinner on the way back from Washington, D.C. to Dallas. When are we getting our food? Jimmy said that dinner's been canceled. I'm like, what? We got a 3.5-hour flight and everyone's starving. Jimmy goes, hey, I want him to know that they played like, you know what? And I was like, wow. We didn't have dinner. I was sitting there going, oh my God, man, this guy. And everyone goes, there's your coach. There's your coach. I'm like, oh yeah, you bet that's my coach. The guy goes, we played like you know what. And you know what? You didn't earn a goddamn dinner. I was like, I couldn't help it. I had put my head down. I just was like, because I had seen this before. 3 years in Miami, I saw this. We did anything stupid or sandwich bags. Get them Cuban sandwiches out of here. They're not having any. Oh, it was totally. I used to just start laughing. I go like that. Here's another one. So we play like dog crap against the team. We beat them, but we played like dog crap. So we come in off the field. We played some stupid team, and we didn't play very good. We're getting ready to take our equipment off. Jimmy goes like this. Hey, what are you guys doing? Well, we were like, well, the game's over, coach. I mean, we're going to get on the buses and go. He goes, no, you're not. You guys didn't play hard enough. We went out and had a 4-hour practice. Not kidding. Full contact. You guys want to play? We're going to play now. I'm like, oh, my God. Guys were dragging. I think we played Louisville or something, and we didn't play very well, but we beat them. You sons of bitches. We're going to practice out. We're there till midnight. I got there at 9:30 in the morning. We didn't leave until 10 hours later. Oh, my God. No coddling. I think Jerry coddles him a little bit, man. All right. We're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk to our friend Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network. He was at Jets camp today. We'll talk to him next. Oh, sorry? All right. Yep. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. There is a lot of storylines going on in the NFL. I mean, this is the last week of the exhibition season, and you now have to get down to 53 by this coming Monday as you get ready for the first week of the NFL. And so teams this week are looking for those final guys to be able to fill out their roster. So it's important right now, this last week. You already know pretty much who your starters are, but this is going to come down to these guys here picking the final guys when it comes to their roster. Well, one of my favorite people on the planet is Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network. He covers the entire landscape of the NFL. Here he is here on the Dan Sileo Show. Okay.
It's not like he played last week. He didn't play last week. Today, I thought he took off and ran too much. It's too much of a crutch. He did it last year. Look, his first start was against New Orleans. They beat the Saints. Saints were the highest team in the league. I think they won 9 in a row. And they beat the Saints, and he was a big part of it. I love Jalen Hurts the person. It's hard not to. I mean, he is just a real pro. And committed and hard worker and all that stuff we talked to today. He's got to see the field better. He's got to stay in. He's got to stay in that pocket and make these throws. He wants to just take off too quickly. And I saw him today in practice. I might go up there again tomorrow and watch it some more. But you got to wait for the pocket, Dan. It's good to have that. Good to have that safety valve to get to lose the quick pressure. But you got to wait for the pocket.
And you got to show courage when you're in the pocket. That's the big thing back there. I mean, the great ones, they take the beating, and the young ones, the first time they feel it, you know, and not always see it, right? Well, they feel it, they take off, and they run. Let me take you on the other side of the ball. Give me your assessment on the front four of the Eagles with Fletcher Cox and those guys. How good can that unit be?
Well, Jamon Hargrave was in there much of the year last year, but he's a quality starter in this business. And, you know, we're going to see Derek Barnett has not really pulled out. Josh Sweat looks like a better player to me. Brandon Graham is a steady pro. You just can't play those guys more than 70% of the snaps. Fletcher was down a little bit last year, but I never worry about Fletcher. Like that guy, you know, this is his 10th year. He looks exactly the same today as he did coming out of Mississippi State. Like he's just kind of an ageless wonder. Physically, he's as good as anybody at that position outside of Aaron Donald. He's a simple guy. But I don't worry about Fletcher. But then, you know, they got to get some better depth because you're going to rotate 7 or 8 guys like most teams in the league right now.
I compared Fletcher Cox to Jerome Brown. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, look, Jerome, he hasn't played as long. But, you know, Jerome Brown was a dominant player. He played with him in Miami again, you know. Yeah, but physically, you know, a dominant player inside that can push the pocket against anybody. It can be just a disruptive force inside.
Yeah, no question. A couple of other questions here, and I'll let you go, Bobby. You know, we saw a game last night, and I say this to you about Urban Meyer. This ain't college, kid. I'm almost say this to you here, man. I mean, that thing looked unorganized. Sidelines. I saw some pre-snap penalties, which means these guys were understanding what the team was supposed to go out and, you know, he's done organizationally during the exhibition season. If you're coach, I thought Sirianni did a nice job so far with his sideline. I don't know, man. I look at Trevor Lawrence and I go, is he going to get the coaching that he needs? Because I see Josh Allen, then I saw Mitchell Trubisky, and I'm like, is Sean McDermott that good a coach? Where this guy can really pump in the knowledge to these guys? Give me your thoughts on the success that you think or don't think that Urban Meyer has in Jackson.
I mean, I watched Urban like you did last night, Dan. He looked awfully frustrated. And I think, you know, when he sees Sean Payton's offense, I mean, Sean Payton's still the star in New Orleans. Don't get that. You know, I mean, Jameis played well, and I love Taysom, but, I mean, he's the star.
got to prove that he can, be trusted by Mike Tomlin.
Hey, Chris. Selling skateboards with his blood. So what's up? Any problems? Wow, I have all these porn sites available to me on my cell phone. Oh, you did you? Oh, I feel spared. I see. I don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is. He must be somebody in your weirdo world. Because he has to be, because you're a weirdo. And yeah, excuse me? Shut up. Thank you. Okay. Don't ever talk again. I'll let you know. Oh, see how I just got big times? That's what most PDs do, and that's what most port ops do. See? See, I inspire people to do those things. That's right. That's correct. I can inspire anybody to drop an F-bomb at any time, including my wife. Thank you. I don't. My daughter said to me the other day, she's like, here, listen to this. I did this to her. She's like, she's in the bedroom and like, I guess the guy hurt her feeling or this and that. And I go, Danielle, he's just, he's just wanting the whole, Dad, I don't want to hear any goddamn thing out of your mouth ever again when it comes to relationships. Do you understand me? I went to my room and I pouted for about an hour. Oh, clearly. Woke up in the morning like nothing happened. That's so good about my family. We wake up, get this. Well, we didn't remember that. We just leave that alone, so it's good. No. My wife is the best cook there is on the planet. I told you guys, I fill little baggies up with strawberries, and I'm a water bottle guy, and I fill water and H2O up. You know what my job is every day? I do 2 shows every day, and I have to clean the kitchen up. So I pick the garbage up, I do the dishes, I wipe the table off, I do all that stuff. That's my gig. And trust me when I tell you, you would think that the Fifth Army going into Berlin, okay, Patton's guys ate at my table. Okay? I mean, nothing spared. Have you ever seen this guy? Every single utensil that a guy has, or every single piece of equipment that a guy has, he takes out of his van. Michael Dominic used to do this. I was his helper. We would take every single piece of equipment and all of his hammers and saws out of his truck for a job that would just cause for 4 or 5 things. Hey, go get me the 48 7-inch 57 ratchet. I'm like, what is that? I have no idea what that is. By the way, I hate it, but okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, okay. I need it because it's really taxing on me. Who? Mr. Jello? Thank you. The roofie's in the pudding. Good. Yeah. By the way, he's out. Go ahead. Yeah, no doubt. He's out on the technicality. No. He's automatically been cured. Like Moses came down and touched him on the shoulder. He's cured now. No, you can see now. Go ahead. Yes. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Ah. Oh. Hammers. Not even like wanting to hear anything either. I try, and you know what? I fired back at her though, and I did say, I go, hey, you know what, Danielle? I did bag your mom. How you doing? She goes like this, you know, Mom, you're the stupidest person on the planet. And I looked over at Danielle. I said, that's the smartest thing you said all night. Because if you think I'm stupid, guess what? My wife married the stupidest person on the planet. So who's stupider? No, but this is our conversations in our house, and it's all love. You know my aunt does right now after we talk like this. God, no, she goes like this. God, the conversations in your house are like this, and I go, yeah, they're all love. My aunt's she's the greatest person on the planet. There's no Hoss. Irish in my blood? I don't think so. I didn't say it was. I'm just saying that way I was raised. That's a good debate. I don't know yet. I have to think about that. Yeah, it's up there. I have to think about that. Yeah. I have to think about that. Nice contribution to the show, Chris. Thank you very much. You really brought me into a good place there. All right. Yeah, we'll reset. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. It is. Oh, I love doing it though, man. My wife makes every meal for us, and it's a spectacular meal. Oh, yeah, but you know what? I grew up like that. I was all in love. Yes. Hey, man, I'll talk to you later, brother. I love you, man. Hey, thank you so much for everything, brother. Yeah, that's cool. All right, man, I'll talk to you later.